Hey everybody, and welcome to the second episode of The Cushion. I am your host, Lasha Lane. Just here to talk to you today about a little bit of history about the BBW porn industry and from some very key, very prominent players in our industry. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce everyone to Miss April Flores. She doesn't even need an introduction. You know who the fuck she is. Hey, Miss April, how are you?
Hey. Thank you, Lasha. That was a very nice intro.
You're totally welcome. Sometimes I just don't even know what to say about people. I'm just really excited and inspired by them. That nothing you could say kind of does it justice. So I have to say that was the feeling that I had the day that we met and you sat down next to me at XBiz LA.
Oh, yeah, I remember it vividly. I mean, it was only a few months ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago.
Doesn't
Unfortunately.
it feel that way?
It really does. I'm like, is that XBiz this January? What the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything, I don't know if you want to address what's going on right now. Like, this will live on for a while, but coronavirus, everything has changed. Concept of time, money, health, obviously, like everything has kind of shifted. So yeah, it was only like 3 months ago, but it does feel like 3 years.
It does. It really seems like a long time ago. I was going to do a podcast on XBiz and AVN and all the seminars and everything that have been going on, but it just doesn't even seem it doesn't even seem necessary anymore.
I know because not to cut you off, but everything that we kind of learned at XBiz specifically, because they're so focused on like the performers, the business aspect of it, as opposed to AVN, which is more the fan side of it. Everything I feel like I learned at XBiz is going to be altered, just like everything else. So yeah, it's just shit can change so fast.
It does. And we don't even know if we're going to be able to work.
Right.
Not anytime soon, because half of us are having such problems with staying indoors that they're putting themselves at risk by filming anyway, and the other half are completely paranoid of that. So when we get started again, who knows where we're going to have to go from here, especially as far as collaborations go in studios.
I know it's much scarier because I feel like every job has a risk, an inherent risk. Adult, clearly, like STIs, HIV, all of the stuff that people, part of why we're stigmatized. But now, like this virus, no one knows anything, like testing, databases, how you fucking transfer it. All of these things are still developing, so I don't think that I will be one of the first ones to go out there and start shooting. Like, I've been doing solo stuff at home, and I'm really like, okay, realizing that I need some lights in here. I need to have a better setup because I was just so used to going and shooting somewhere else, and just like I was used to just going to the store. All the things we took for granted, definitely under that umbrella is shooting.
Yeah, for sure. Has anyone reached out to you yet for branded content? Have any of the companies that are offering that now reached out to you yet?
No. I reached out to one company, and I emailed the wrong person, so she gave me a contact, but I haven't done that yet. This was on my to-do list today.
Yeah. I'll give you a list of a few of them. I think Kink.com is one of them, and they were offering like $500 for a solo scene. So,
oh, nice.
And there are a couple companies that are offering equipment as well.
Okay, very cool.
Right, it's a great subsidy for us, and I think a lot of companies are stepping up. And they've reached out to couples that are quarantined together to shoot content for that too, as well as solo stuff. So it's out there. We just have to find it and get in.
Yeah. In addition to like our other streams that don't involve shooting with someone else.
Yeah. So let's rewind a little bit, well, a long bit again. um, I'm sure everyone knows that you started out a while back. What inspired you to start doing porn?
So I had a very roundabout way of entering the adult industry. I didn't wake up and say, oh, I want to be a porn star or, to some of the typical routes of entry to adult, you would think. So my late husband, Carlos Batts, and I had been working on a photo project, which was eventually the goal was to have all of our photos published in a book. And at the time, it was, the idea of what eventually became Fat Girl, the book, was to have me as the sole subject, but also have me in shoots with other people. And at the time, he was a very good photographer, and he was shooting for a Japanese magazine about, LA culture, and he shot Belladonna, who's a, legendary porn star.
I love her.
And yeah, she's amazing. She saw my photos in his portfolio, and she really liked my look, and she wanted to meet. And so Carlos and I thought we could shoot her, for our book project, but she was way, way, way ahead of the curve and ahead of the time, because she said no, she doesn't shoot projects for other companies. But then she invited me to be in one of her movies, and I was like, okay.
I remember that one.
I thought about it. I was like, fuck it, yeah, I'll do this scene. I had never had sex with a woman before. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's try it. So the idea going in was just for me to, have an experience, try it out one time. I had no plans of staying in the industry like 14 and a half years of what it is now. I just thought it would be a one-time thing. I wore a wig for anonymity. And I had a really great time.
It was a great scene.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was like super novice. She just led the way because she was like so experienced that, she could carry the scene for both of us. And I had a great time. And back then, our group of friends were photographers, pornographers, other porn performers. So it just really it just unraveled very easily, and my path to being in adult film just led from one project being offered to another project, and slowly it just snowballed. And I, after like my fourth or fifth project, I thought, I'm having a great time, but in order for me personally to be excited about, because once you do porn, like people don't really talk about that, but once you do porn, your shit's out there forever. And I thought, I need a good reason for myself, in addition to like my exhibitionism and like loving getting paid to do sex work. I decided that I would continue in adult, with the goal being of representation for other fat women, other fat-bodied people, even skinny people or people who are biased against fat people, to challenge the norms of what society has been telling us, and media, and just, like these ingrained ideas about what is considered beautiful, attractive, desirable, and what is considered worthy of all that.
Did you start out in Los Angeles, or did you start out in Northern California? And what would be the difference between the two?
Yeah, okay. So I am from LA, so I started here and shooting with companies here versus shooting with companies in the Bay Area. For me, there has been a difference. The Bay Area, in my experience, has, a lot of queer porn, which is not really prevalent down in Southern California. And also I've shot with Kink a handful of times, and they are also based in Northern California. So I think the queer and kink aspect can be found all over, but in my experience, those are the main differences. Like I shoot the mainstream stuff down here in LA, and then the more queer and kinky stuff up in the Bay Area.
Okay. Now let's talk about that for a second because you do lesbian porn, you do queer porn. What is the distinct difference between the Los Angeles kind of culture as far as shooting lesbian porn goes and do you find it to be more authentic in Northern California as far as the way that it's portrayed?
Yeah, definitely. I think with mainstream companies, they have a goal. It's not an agenda, it's a goal, and it's a product. So the product is, scissoring and just what people think people want to see two, lesbians doing together, which is not really authentic. When I've shot queer porn, it is more about the connection, the realistic documentation of people fucking, how they want to fuck or how they like to fuck. So yeah, the stuff in more mainstream is I would say more about a product and less about representation.
Okay. That's fair. It's definitely fair. And to also be more fair, I definitely don't want to put it out there that what LA does as far as lesbian sex is not something that's considered authentic at all. I mean, there are times when you do just want to spread someone's pussy open and just do, crazy shit. There are people like that, so I don't want to disrespect that at all. I just want to definitely make sure that we see that there's a difference between the two, and neither of them are bad. I was going to ask you, which do you prefer?
I mean, I prefer both. I baseline just like doing sex work, and getting to perform is really cathartic for me. I love it. So they're both fun. I do love the shoots that I've done in LA have been more high production for the most part. I'm not excluding certain studios or whatever, but I do like the high production day, hair and makeup and lights and, like a formal location. And for a lot of the other shoots that I've done, which are smaller studios, and there's just maybe it's shot in someone's apartment.
It's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe, and I enjoy all of it because at the end I feel like I'm representing a fat body in a sexual way, and I know that in addition to helping someone get off, I think it'll help someone feel like, oh, I see a fat body in media being portrayed in a sexual manner. That means I am worthy of that, which I have heard many times. So this is not a hypothetical theory.
Yes, it's hard because you hear the things that your work does for people. And I mean, sometimes it's just, for most people, it's just about the money. But when you start hearing those things that people tell you that I saw you there and I know now that that was hot. I like that. I can do that. Or someone who never saw it before at all and is like, whoa, girls look like that too. Something different. And I think that's probably all we're trying to put out on, all that you're trying to pull out, especially for that. And I really appreciate that. I know sometimes here in Los Angeles, we don't feel that we're appreciated in that mainstream package. Have you had any experience with East Coast as far as their vibe and their porn industry?
I have not actually. I haven't shot in Miami or New York or anywhere. No, so I'm uneducated in the West Coast versus East Coast. I don't know.
Wow. Let's tap into that. I do notice that there's a difference between when it comes to the black women in porn, how East Coast is basically considered urban porn, and West Coast is considered ethnic. And the underlying issues of it are totally steeped in racist culture, so I don't want to get too deep into that. But there is a distinct difference. So I was wondering, there's a few BBW stars that have done both East and West Coast. So I'm going to try and do both as well. But I'm just wondering if you'd had the experience. Interesting. I'll share more with you on that when I learn more too.
Okay. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yeah. So what have you not done in the industry that you've wanted to do?
I haven't done anal, and I'm saving that.
For real?
Yeah, well, in real life I have, but not on film.
Yeah.
And I haven't done a gangbang, and those are the two things that I have not done on film yet that I'm interested in exploring. The good thing about how the tube sites change the industry and ultimately have empowered performers to have more autonomy and just be more in control of what they do is that now I can save those two shoots for myself, my own company, my own stuff, as opposed to, giving it to a random company that will shoot it and promote it. But if it's for my own business, I think it'll have more meaning, and it'll be worth that I've waited so long.
Hmm. Have you started, is that what your end goal, do you have that as an end goal for your industry? I mean, for your career? Will you see for yourself?
I think it's a goal. It's not like my immediate goal, but yeah, I think it might be approaching time to explore, especially anal, because a gangbang is not going to happen anytime soon. But I have toys here. I have a partner who can wear,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So that's more attainable because I'm hearing more from my fans now that we're in quarantine. I'm communicating with them a lot more, and there's a big curiosity or interest in anal stuff. I had never realized.
Yeah, that's a lot of the internet girls, the ones that do mainly the OnlyFans and things like that. They do it all the time. I'm wondering why it's not something that's done more in the industry, and I'm starting to think that there's not much imagination going into it. It's just put us in a pretty space and let's just go. So I'm hoping to see more, breaking barriers and doing just a little bit more extreme stuff when it comes to that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the porn industry relies heavily on stuff that has worked in the past, but I think slowly it's evolving. There's so many people just shaking that up and showing that it doesn't have to be the way it used to be. I think the older people in charge, the old white men, are reluctant to change, but the newer people, especially the performers, are just doing what sells for them, for their brand.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I really am enjoying the fact that more people are being vocal about what they like and what they don't like. I like it both ways. I really like to see the positive things in the industry. I like to see them getting back to the performers and, reaching out, and I love seeing other performers help each other too. I love the fact that it's changing that way. If there's still some kicks and starts and things like that, I really think I am very positive. A lot more than I used to be when I first started, before I left, because of that. Not feeling supported. I'm glad to see that's changing. Yeah.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. So what about performers? Okay, so who's been your favorite performer so far?
Oh, my favorite performer to work with?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't pinpoint one down.
Okay, give me a handful. That's fine.
Yeah, most. I'll say that there have been two people that I didn't really enjoy working with, and one was because that person had like a smell, and like this person was clean, like freshly showered, all this stuff. It was just like an internal smell that did not, it really clashed with my like own chemistry, so that was a challenging scene. and someone else that just, I could tell they were checked out while we were shooting, and that didn't feel good. Felt really bad, actually.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. I really want to hear that story, but I'll save that for another time. And who's been some of your favorites?
I love performing with Jiz Lee. We've been emailing for like other stuff lately, and I've just, taken stock of like we've shot together a bunch, and we go way, way back.
Yeah.
So I have like an affinity for Jiz. Isaiah Maxwell I've shot with a handful of times, and he's always like super sweet, lots of fun. Who else? I shot with my spouse, Milka Halili, which was really magical.
Yeah.
We've only done like one official shoot together, but it was very special. Carla I always have fun with. She's like one of my best friends, so it's like hanging out. Like we mostly just hang out, then we'll just shoot and then keep hanging out. So it's fun to shoot with your friends.
It really is.
It is. I've had the, not so ideal thing happen with some friends that it just, it clicks over to where that like you're too close, so it doesn't feel really good shooting. It's like you're a little bit too close. But Carla and I have managed to stay like close friends, but not make it weird when we're shooting together. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced that where you're like, make that switch.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, and I kind of just happened to go through it with my ex-best friend. Well, we're ex-best friend, but so awkward. Yeah, I get that, but I would never have understood it until just now.
Yeah, like I shot once with a good friend of mine, and it was just like, oh God, awkward. I also shot with Sophia Rose, who's a really good friend of mine, and that was lots of fun. Again, just like on set, hanging out, catching up, then we shoot, and then we're just like, we went to lunch afterwards. So it's a really benefit when you have that close relationship, because a lot of the times it's just a person that I'll just talk about me, a person that I wouldn't really necessarily want to hang out with in real life.
Right.
It's just like a colleague for that day.
Yeah, and that's cool too. Just like
that's fine.
Basically, what we all are in the end is colleagues.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just had a mind fart. Let's see. Are there any companies out there that you would shoot for in a second? Hands down.
Oh, I love shooting with Adult Time. I think mainly, one of the bigger studios, I would like hands down just say yes. The smaller ones, I'm really lucky that I'm with an agency now who can do the vetting for me, but it's really hard to navigate, especially for someone that's new, discerning which companies are real, who's telling me the truth. I had a fan email me message me on OnlyFans saying, this company, one of the major ones, is wanting to shoot my girlfriend, but they're shooting on the West Coast, like all these red flags. So I texted a few people that I know, just on their behalf, just so that they're safe, and they were like, no, they don't shoot over there, like they wouldn't shoot this person. So I was like, let's just stay away. Luckily, I'm able to avoid that, but navigating that is really hard.
Let's talk about that for a second. So when did you sign on with your agency? How did that come to pass?
I signed on with them in August 2019, and I had taken a few years off. Just I think as most people do every now and then, you just need a little break. And I came back. I went to a party, because Carla was like, come to parties, because that's a big thing, like networking, and not just in adult, but in any industry, you need to network.
Yeah.
So I had gone to a party with her, and she had just signed with her agency, and I ran into this person named M. M used to work at lots of different companies many, many, many years ago. Like, I know her from a long time ago. And we were talking. She's like, oh, my God, I'm at the next level. Like, you should sign with us. So she really got the ball rolling with that, and I met with them, and I think they're great people. They have a lot of experience in the industry, you know, in multiple different jobs in it. So I just really respected their just the experience that they bring to the table. So now I'm really privileged in that they get to like go back and forth and negotiate rates, and I'm kind of out of the mix. It's like having a lawyer, but but for you know, getting work.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that it's more in your particular experience because of the history that you have within the industry, or do you think that maybe this particular agent is open to casting or representing plus-size models now?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Can you ask me again?
So you already have a history attached to you. You only took a few years off, but you have a whole body of work already. So the agency comes to you, they meet you, they know who you are, they know what your bankability is in this industry. So for someone else, there are certain agents that won't, in this industry, that won't hire or won't represent BBW talent at all because they don't feel that it's particularly marketable for them. So what I'm wondering is, do you think it's easier for someone who's had experience for a longer period of time to get an agent now, or do you think that agencies like Next Level are just realizing BBW talent is bankable?
Oh, no, yeah, I don't think that it's easy for BBWs to get representation. And yeah, for sure, like my 10 plus years experience definitely is what they, you know, what they liked about me too. Like, it was mutual. We both liked that we both had lots of experience in the industry. Unfortunately, it's taken, okay, so Carla entered the industry like 9 months before I did. So we are basically pretty much the same track record in terms of length in this industry. She only got signed last year, maybe the spring. I got signed last year in the summer. And we have all of these years, all these movies, all of this experience that we bring, and we're barely getting signed, like 10 plus more years in the industry. I used to go to the parties a lot. I would be at events all the time. I did a lot of that stuff, and I would see certain agents, and I would fuck with them, and I would be like, hey, when are you going to sign me? And, you know, they would always stutter and like, and giggle. Yeah, they never, I knew they never were going to. Yeah. But it was just my way of like taking little jabs. I had spoken to a few agencies, but it was never a realistic thing until Carla got signed with, I forget her agency, but she got signed first. And I think that's also what sparked Next Level to be like, oh, okay, like this is a thing that's being done now, and that now. Yeah, I thank Carla for opening that door, and I can also, I don't know, like, who knows what the future holds. I don't know if BBWs are going to get the representation that is deserved.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think so eventually. I just think enough noise will have to be made in order for it to happen, and people don't like noise. So, you know.
You know, a lot of performers don't need agencies anymore. They don't need mainstream companies. Like, it's obsolete, and on some level, they have their cams and their clips, and that there are fans that are paying. Like, they're doing fine. Like, they worked it out. A lot of what used to work in this industry is proving not to be the only way.
Exactly. I actually like that a little better. It feels more authentic in a way. Not maybe as if someone had created the star, but maybe the star came from the talented individual. Either way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, their own hard work and just the hustle.
Yeah, I like both. I just wish one day we'd all be able to play together and not have to worry about the separation of that. There can just be one movie with a multiple variety of bodies and different types. One can dream.
Yeah.
So what are you getting into now that you are home by yourself with your honey? How are you staying sane?
So work-wise, I am just shooting little clips here and there. I have a small space, so I think that's the major challenge I have, and I need light. I need to get light because sunlight is very finicky and is not available all the time. And these overhead lights are not doing anything for my look at all.
It makes you not even want to put makeup on, right?
I'm just like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But I'm getting creative. I'm using I have a light up makeup mirror, so I'm using that as a light. The sunlight, obviously. So yeah, I'm just it's just forcing creativity. But is there a saying like necessity breeds creativity or something like that?
Yeah,
it's true.
Didn't the Renaissance happen after the last plague?
Oh, okay.
Everyone was tired of being cooped up and dying, so.
I mean, I'm hoping, I read a tweet that said, everyone's talking about getting back to normal, but normal for a lot of people wasn't that great. So I'm hoping that when we emerge from this, the people who do are more mindful and just more collaborative and more community-oriented. And like we're learning, the jobs are very fragile, and you need your community, and the government is not shit a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that collectively we come out of this more evolved.
That's a very good word, evolved. I like that. We're being forced to shovel some coal right now. Hopefully we'll get a couple diamonds out of this.
Yeah.
I really think that's definitely a possibility because I read yesterday, I was on the Exodus forum, one of the guys I was kind of debating with, said that, this wasn't about community, it's just about money.
Right.
And I'm like, why? Why can't it be about both?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why it can't be about both, so I'm hoping that that's what's going on. I particularly am having a hard time being away from people. Are you having any of those issues, like just being around and out?
I'm actually adapting quite nicely to being at home. I'm really surprised myself because usually I'm just out all the time. Like I'm out spending money and just doing stuff and just distracting myself. Especially years ago, like 3 years ago, I was just like never home. But I have built a really nice house with Milka, and it's very like it's like my what is it, like my serene, my haven. I think I am. Yeah, my sanctuary, exactly, that's the word. I am having a hard time not seeing my mom in particular because we're close, and I know that she is usually really active in her community, but everyone's at home now, so I'm really concerned about her being lonely because that negatively affects health.
Yes, mental health,
Mental health, and then it affects your physical health. So what I'm having the hardest time around is feeling fear. A lot of the time, like if I leave my house to get mail, for example, like as soon as I leave the door, I'm like in this mode of like anxiety and not, like just being hyper vigilant about like what do I touch and what, like who to stay away and on my mask and my shoes and all this. So like that sense of safety that I took for granted, like that's what I'm missing the most.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just stay indoors, and that way we don't have to deal with it at all. If Amazon will get their shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely thing. So all of the girls out here would love to be where you are right now, as far as career goes. Girl, that dress at AVN, just saying, that dress was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
If you could offer any of the young ladies that, and you hear this all the time, any advice as far as like their career when they're just starting out, the words, the thoughts, what would you say to up and comers?
I would say this is going to be the hardest thing, but it's very important to learn this and just practice it throughout your career. If you're not comfortable with something, you can say no and you can leave. You might miss the paycheck, and I know a lot of people are not in the place to skip out on a paycheck, but please always practice your voice, speaking up if you don't like something, if you're not comfortable, because in the end you'll feel bad about it. And also do your research. If someone wants to shoot you, please do your research. Reach out to other models. And yeah, especially with like the lesser known companies. Just do your research, speak up. And also, like, it's hard work. I think that there is, don't underestimate how hard it's going to be. I think there's this idea that sex work is easy.
Oh, yeah.
And it really is not.
No.
There's so many different, it's fucking work. Yeah, it's right there in the title, it's work. There's so much involved and so many different aspects of like, now if you're producing your own content, you have to shoot it, edit it, upload it. There's a lot of technical savvy that you need to have. And if you're seeing, clients, you have to screen them. And what I have found not really ever discussed is the emotional labor that goes into sex work that you will have to do. So it's not just easy, I show up, I fuck, I get a check. Like, back when I started, like in 2005, yeah, maybe it was that easy, but now it's not. It's hard work.
What is it for you? Like, what's been the hardest emotionally for you at times?
Emotionally, just providing the service of like talking.
Yeah.
Being engaged, that for me, I think because I was able, since I started in 2005 when the whole business model was vastly different, I developed my work and not really having an emotional connection to it. Not that I'm a robot, but it was, physical, and it was like expressing myself, and I was exploring my sexuality. All these really superficial things that didn't really involve feelings, emotions, really any aspect of the real me.
Right.
It was like my persona that, with messaging and just all of these things that go deeper, it requires a lot more bandwidth. And I just want new people to take that into consideration. I feel I've done customer service, and a lot of the times I feel like it's the same as customer service. You're just working in a different, different model.
Yeah. Okay, last question. What do you love about this industry? What do you say?
Oh, what do I love? Well, I love this. Meeting you and I, like meeting people that we have never met before, but we know of each other. We know each other's work. We have this commonality of like things we've experienced, and we have like this sense of connection that I don't share with someone, that I used to work my customer service job with, or just a random person I meet on the street. Like, we don't have this thread that, ties us all together. I think that that aspect is what I love the most
Mm-hmm.
about this industry. In addition to like getting paid, the sexual stuff, like I will never not love that.
Yeah,
but I just think that
but that's a given, you know. It's like that's expected. I like your answer better.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I made so many great friends. I've even met, my spouse I met through the industry. So I feel like another misconception about the industry is that we're all vapid and just like sex machines and we don't care. Like that is not the truth. Like we're all of the bad things. I have found it to be completely opposite. Like I've met more shitty people outside of like doing porn than in. And yeah, there are shitty people in porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're shitty fucking doctors. They're shitty fucking, like, not saying that doctors are bad, but they're shitty people in any kind of industry.
Exactly.
Because all of us are kind of shitty, in some way.
Yeah. And I suppose also most of us were nerds growing up. So we kind of like, I've never been around a whole bunch of nerds for more than I have in porn. It's cute. It's really cute how nerdy we become. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking about.
Thank you, Lasha. This was really, really nice. I'm very happy that you had me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You made me cry.
Oh.
All right, everyone. I will check in with you guys soon. I don't know who I'm going to have on next, but we're going to kind of continue on this whole BBW porn history thing. I think it's important to hear the stories. I will tune in with you guys soon, and hopefully you enjoyed the show. Have a great day, and thank you again, April.
Thank you, Lasha. I'm really happy.